This conference will now be recorded.
And so I may look at Cloudways again, but Cloudways charges a premium over what you pay to the VPS, and it almost doubles the price. And if you get a big server, it's more than double. So I've tended to stay away from Cloudways.
Okay, yeah. I just don't like Christina. I used to do that years ago too, but I found out I was spending more time managing the server versus trying to get my work done. You know, the updates would come in, then you worry about guys breaking in, and all of a sudden, you know, somebody breaks in because you didn't do this update, etc.
Right.
So now it's what your time's worth. And again, the dollars. The way I run my thing is I run my business as a service, so I charge X dollars a month, you know, for clients. So I do what the other guys like at Cloudways do, but it works out better in the long run. So I spend more time servicing the clients versus servicing the server type thing.
Yeah,
anyways,
I agree. I've got to work this out. I haven't yet. I'm still thrashing with WebDoc and Vulture. Vulture works. I've got a website installed, but it has no email connection, and so I'm trying to work that out right now.
Yeah, you got to get an email server. What they've done with the guys at, again, Cloudways, they package it together. So their emails, they got a good deal from Rackspace. So they charge a dollar, well, it's US, unfortunately, $1 per month for each email address.
Oh,
and
I
you've
see.
got like 15 plus gigs on that, and it's a rock solid service. I've got a few clients using it. So
that supply the email service, and they look a lot like Control Panel, which means then I'm familiar with it and I can do stuff. But that's not my real problem right now. My real problem is I got a client that has lots of photos. The images amount to about 3 gigabytes, and that is slowing down whenever he does backups or migrations or anything like that. It's killing him. And so what I need to do is figure out how to kill or get rid of all those excess images, and we'll find that out.
okay.
But there's more people arriving. I see Kathy is here, and Nicole, and NA waiting for name 2010.
Cool. So I think we'll start with Patricia and then go to Favor.
Okay,
and then we'll get the party started. Well, actually, Kathy, Sandra, Nicole, if you could introduce yourselves, that'd be fantastic. So we'll start off with Kathy. If you could please introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your business or your blog, tell us about how we could potentially help you tonight, and that would be fantastic.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Kathy Sturman. I'm just starting up a business doing websites. I've been using WordPress for just over a year and just have a lot to learn. So I'm joining as many meetups as I can, just seeing what everybody else is doing and really focusing on how I can improve my processes. That I feel like I'm taking a bit too long to get the websites done, and I need to find a quicker and better way so that I can make some money other than it taking me so long. So yeah, and thanks for having me at this meetup.
No worries, glad to have you. And I think we'll definitely talk about processes, because I think that kind of lines up with what Faber was looking for, kind of learning a bit more about running the business of web design and how to like get things in place to be better, stronger, faster, richer. So we'll definitely tackle that for sure. Thank you for coming by. Sandra, could you please tell us a bit about yourself, how we could potentially help you with WordPress today? And the floor is all yours.
Hi there. So I'm not a designer or developer. I use WordPress for blogging for my company website, and I'm just always looking to learn more about WordPress, and I use Divi.
Woo, woo. So I'm having a Divi meetup tomorrow, so I'd love to have you there.
I was just
Sometime
at
tomorrow.
a big Black Friday Divi meetup based out of the US, and they had all these Black
Yeah.
Friday deals that they
Yeah,
were promoting.
I miss that, but yeah, I heard it. It was like a multi-Divi group.
It
I
was
think
huge. Yeah.
how many people were there?
Well, it wasn't, I mean, number-wise, I think it was like 40 to 50, but there were
That's
people
nice.
from all over the US, not too many from Canada, but primarily from the US, and they were just showing all of the different plugins. And because of Black Friday, they have like 30% off and whatever for these different plugins for Divi. So yeah.
Yeah, I was commuting yesterday, so I missed it, but I heard about it. Yeah, I'll definitely love to touch base with you about that if you have time
Yeah,
tomorrow,
sure.
for sure. Okay, and Nicole, if you could introduce yourself, tell us a bit about you, your business or blog, and how we could potentially help you tonight.
I have a company, web design company called Supernova Site, and
Okay.
I've had it for about a year now, so it's coming up a year, so it'll be a huge achievement for me to look back.
Congrats.
And I work on Divi, also Elementor. I prefer Elementor.
Wow.
But I still love to learn about Divi as well. And I'm sad I missed that big meetup. Also, I do a little bit of Shopify, not too much, and still learning it, and just learning WooCommerce as well. It's pretty big, and just want to network, meet people, learn, troubleshoot errors. Yeah.
Awesome. That's really wonderful. So we will start with you first, Patricia, because you are first when I look at the screen. So we're gonna go Patricia, Favor, Jacques. Boris, I don't know if you mentioned if you had any issues, but I think you didn't. So we'll definitely like to hear your expertise on each person. Kathy as well. We'll definitely talk a bit about, what was it, blogging, I think, and then we'll definitely have an overall discussion about web design processes, how to grow your web design business, maybe talk a little bit about some technical stuff. And then the same time, tomorrow is the Divi meetup, but it is on a different platform. It is on Zoom. So I'll share the link to that in case anybody does want to join in to kind of discuss more about the business of design. So it's more web design focused, but yeah. So Patricia, I checked out your link.
Yeah.
And I noticed that it was a coming soon page. So
Okay.
do you want to share with the room a bit more about what you're struggling with, and we can see how we can help you?
It's just basically the setups, like I see other people's web pages and they look so spectacular and stuff like that. And I find that my pages that I've seen look very unorganized, very messed up, and there's no, good structure to it,
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. What we could do, if you are able to, if you could share your screen, then
Yeah.
I think what we could do maybe an audit. There's a couple of professionals in the room. Nicole's here, Sandra's here, Jacques and Boris are here. So there's a couple of people here who have some web design experience under their belt. So I think what we could do is we could do an audit, give you some advice and see what you've done so far. How does that sound, everybody? So I don't know, like if you want to, is it the link you have in your bio? Is that what we're looking at right now?
Yeah, I was thinking what I could do is I could just find a way to change that setting, right? But there again, I get into this thing and I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going.
Got it.
I mean, like the way that they present it in videos and stuff like that, it seems like it's just so simple and straightforward and that. And but yet then when I get down to it and I'm trying to do things, it's like I get overwhelmed and lost, you know. So
Yeah.
and now I'm trying to find.
It appears you're using WordPress.com. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm trying to find this spot where I undo the coming soon part, and I don't know where the heck that is now.
Okay. Does anyone know where that is in WordPress.com?
Oh wait, let's see.
I believe it's in the user settings, right? Mine was incoming soon just 2 days before this, so I published it from the user settings.
Okay, I'm looking at the settings, but I clicked the button and it's not doing anything. Jeez, man. Ugh, I don't know. I wish that I, excuse me.
Do you want to share your screen? And then I think maybe we could kind of walk you through. Is that okay?
Yeah, how do I do that? Press the...
I will send you the request. So
Okay.
I've sent you a request, and I've also requested keyboard and mouse control.
Okay.
So near the bottom, you should be able to click the desktop/screen icon to share your screen, and then we could probably walk you through it together.
Okay. I pressed to share and stuff like that, so.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. So we can see your screen.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, perfect. So I also have control of it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to tell us a bit more?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a bit more about your website? Is it simply a blog, or do you want to tell us?
Okay, I was starting it out as a blog on sort of some personal life experiences that I had lived, because I had read so much online about this particular issue that I wanted to share my story about it, right? And what I had lived through. But I also want to be able to add, maybe some affiliate marketing links to it, and add other links to it to be able to make money off of it. And also I have a lot of other information that I would like to share with people and things like that, and I don't know how to incorporate all of it kind of thing together. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I really like that page there with the stones.
Yeah. I like it too. I mean, I don't personally, as for a personal blog, I think it's quite good. Let's see, let's go in a bit more. So when it comes to affiliate marketing, as an example, sometimes it's just as simple as like creating text links. So there isn't really too much about it. And obviously the floor is open for anyone else to also share their experience. But I'm talking about my experience as a blogger who has made money through influencer marketing as well as blogging, a YouTuber who's currently a part of the YouTube partner platform and has also done and made revenue, passive income through AdSense. It's all about, to be honest, like, I don't see anything wrong. It's a personal blog. However, is there any specific blog that you've seen that maybe you want to emulate the way that it looks in particular?
No, I can't think of anything in particular because I've seen a lot of stuff, so I couldn't be specific even if I wanted to.
Right. Yeah. there's a lot. So would you say that your blog, the industry or the topic, is it more surrounding like just taking a brief look over here? Is it like surrounding relationships? Is it surrounding just like life? Is it just your personal story? That will also help us kind of help
Yeah.
you decide kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, I would say it would have to do with like relationships and you know, dealing with people, and then how this affects your own personal life as well, you know.
Mhm.
So it's sort of it's a very all-encompassing kind of thing. So.
Okay, so what do you like about your blog so far?
I like my heart, my puzzled heart. I mean, because that really symbolizes a lot to me.
Okay.
I like the stone picture that I have for sure, and I tried hard to be able to write clearly enough and understandable enough. Although I'm not the best of writers, right? So, but I tend to use things like Grammarly or the other one, Overwrite or whatever it's called, to help correct the mistakes and things that I might make, right?
Okay, that makes sense. I believe someone had mentioned that they currently write for the blog for their company. Would you be able to kind of add some context? I believe it was Kathy. I think you said you were writing for your company blog. I'm not sure, but would that person be able to kind of unmute themselves and maybe share some of their experience, especially for blogging for their company?
I think that might be me.
Okay. Sandra.
I don't do personal blogging though. Like the blogging that I do is for business subjects, like business applications. So I don't think it's the same kind of blogging that this is designed for. The only thing I would say is if you want to be found, you've got to learn something about SEO. So you can write like crazy, but if nobody ever finds it, it really doesn't matter. And if you're not promoting it on social media, so I don't promote on social media, everything I do is about SEO. So everything is, there's got to be a heading 1, there's got to be a heading 2, the images have to be optimized. You have to write your metadata. All of that is part and parcel with those things being found if you want to be found. So it's not even so much about the look, it's about writing things in a way that Google will find you. And you have to play by their rules.
Yeah.
So you've got, to me, I have Yoast, that's what I use for my writing of the metadata stuff. But I would say I've learned a lot about the importance of compressing images and reducing, page size. And then I did attend a WordCamp out of a place in Ohio, and a guy did a session. He has a YouTube channel and he also has a blog. And he when he would put an image into his post page, not only would he put a title tag on it, but he'd also have an extra title tag. And I started doing that, and it actually increased traffic. So like these little quirky things make a difference in your traffic. And I don't know if you've learned much about SEO, but it's a whole thing to learn. And I think starting right from square one and doing things well from an SEO perspective, I think is really important, because it's such a pain in the neck to go back and fix it after, right?
I have heard of SEO. I'm not completely familiar with it, but I have heard of it and I know a very small amount about it.
So Yoast is a big plugin. So that would be a plugin that I don't know what everybody else is doing here, but that's the one I've used. But then I also had Yoast go down. I don't know if you went through those periods where Yoast didn't upgrade correctly. And so I started to do a lot of other things in addition to Yoast. So I will write my other pieces when I write a blog post in addition to doing the SEO stuff. And that's just because Yoast I've had 2 experiences of Yoast not working. And it's awful when all the stuff you wrote doesn't get seen, isn't recognized by Google, right? And so anyhow, I'm a little paranoid about that. But I will tell you, if you want to learn about SEO, HubSpot has a free course on it. A really good free course. Yeah. They have an academy, and I mean, HubSpot's known for big time traffic. I mean, they committed to the whole SEO strategy, and their traffic's in the millions. But
I think I have heard of them too.
Well, HubSpot's a pretty big name, but their free SEO course I thought was really good.
Okay.
So, and it's free as well.
Thanks. I'll check it out.
So if you look up HubSpot Academy SEO, you'll find it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No problem. Does anyone else want to share their experiences with blogging from a personal standpoint? Thank you so much, Sandra, for opening the floor on that. Really do appreciate your contributions. Personally and professionally, I've always used Yoast. I don't think I've ever not used Yoast. I think the only time I didn't use Yoast was when the one time I built a website completely from scratch using HTML, CSS. That was a super fast website, but it also was not mobile responsive, but it was found very, very highly. Google really liked that website. So yeah. So, but SEO is definitely something that I've always stuck to. I've heard a lot about like things like Rank Math and other platforms, but I've always just stuck with Yoast. But also some of the other things that you had mentioned is definitely very important, such as like alt tags, title tags, compressing images. Like I remember, Jacques, you mentioned about how you have a client who has 3 gigs worth of images, which is, I've never heard that before. But it's something you definitely need to watch and compress for sure. Kathy, I think I saw you unmute your mic, and Nicole, I noticed you had to. Would you like to add to the conversation?
Yes.
Yes, do you want to go first, Nicole?
There's this website called iWriter, and they're pretty affordable service if you don't have time for a blog writer to do your blogs. I think it's like pretty reasonable price. I never used it myself, but I think for me, for blogs, I always jot down my ideas, like in an Excel spreadsheet, and then I come back to them later. So I just feel like I don't have time to sit down and take the time to write it always, so I just come back to it later. So it's good to keep like notes, and you could always hire someone pretty affordably if you needed to.
If you get someone to do something like that, how does it be personal? That's what I'd wonder.
Yeah, that's a challenge for sure. I think you have to give them a lot of guidance. Yeah. There's always a downside to these services, right?
Yeah, yep.
Patricia, you mentioned that you had some issues with the organization of your site and design.
I felt that it was unorganized.
Okay, can you show us what it is that you don't like, that you feel is unorganized?
Well, okay, that like the heading underneath of there, like about blog and photos for relaxing at home. I mean, they need to be switched around so they're better. And then the part on about or whatever like that. I'm not sure what all to put there, although I have read different things that I could do. And when I go to the different headings there, it seems like everything that I've done is under each single one, so they're not separated. Does it make sense when I say that?
No.
Okay, so like if you
not categorizing.
Yeah, like if you go to the about page, then you see the whole blog. You go to blog, you see all the blogs. If you go to home, you see all the blog.
Like it seems like it's not a true menu system.
It's something like that. Like this page here is like totally different, right? So.
Okay. So I think we can work with some of that. So let's try fixing the menu for starters. So definitely need a little bit of help here, guys, because I am not. Oh wait, hold on. I know this. So okay, I'm at home now. All right, cool. So I can definitely help you.
I guess WordPress.com is like Wix, kind of like a page builder, right? Or a...
Sorry, can you repeat that?
WordPress.com, is it like Wix, like how you build a website?
Yeah.
Not. I would say yes and no. Like I feel like Wix is still a bit more drag and droppy, if that makes sense, as opposed to WordPress. But so Patricia, this is the back end most of us are familiar with, because this is the back end for the self-hosted WordPress setup. So to change the menu, I think before we get to the menu, I think we need to organize your posts. So from the left-hand menu here, we have posts.
Right.
And so far we have 3 posts. So if you noticed, right off the bat, all 3 of these posts are uncategorized.
All right. Okay.
So the first thing I'd recommend is maybe creating different categories over here. So under posts, there is a menu item for categories.
Okay.
So let's just go to the front end and see. So we have the blog, about, but in your mind, when you're thinking about or planning your blog posts, what are some of the topics that you'd like to group things under, as an example?
Oh, I don't know if I've thought that far enough ahead yet.
Okay.
And I really don't know off the top of my head without wasting a whole lot of time.
Okay, so how about we just think about the posts you've written already? How would you categorize these 3 posts?
The beginning is a good way to describe it.
Okay,
it's the
so
first
all
thing
3
that comes to my mind.
Okay, so let's say maybe thoughts.
Okay.
As an example, we can always change this. So
yes,
as an example, thoughts.
Okay.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to move all of these posts into that category, just to start. So what I'm doing is I'm bulk editing. So I'm editing all 3 of the posts at the exact same time. And I'm changing the category from uncategorized to thoughts.
Okay.
And then we're going to update. Question for the room. Does anyone know how to remove the uncategorized? You see how we just added thoughts to this? We still have uncategorized. So does anyone know how to remove it without having to manually go in and like remove it?
Don't you go to categories under posts?
There, you just did it. Or
but I can't. I feel like this is I think this is a glitch with WordPress as a whole, because you would think that if you batch updated and only selected one category, it would just make that the only category. But for some reason, WordPress, after all these years, it still keeps the uncategorized option on the blog post. But anyway, more on that later.
Christina,
change the uncategorized name to whatever name you want. And you can also use a special filter to see, it says all categories, and then you would download and it would show you just the category, the uncategorized posts and pages, and then you can, in the bulk actions, you can decide whether you want to delete or trash them. If you trash them, you can recover them, but you have to do as a special step. That's an alternative to. It's similar to the problem I have with all my media library images. There's over 4,000 of them, and I want to just eliminate the ones that are not attached to any page and post. But it's I still haven't figured out how to do that.
I think there's a plugin that can help with that. I'm not sure I remember what it is. For the image compression, I definitely think this is one of those rare situations where, though it might be a pain in the butt, I think it's necessary for you to re-upload the images more compressed, because I think getting a plugin like Smush or auto-optimize to optimize that much data, like over 3 gigs, I don't think that could be beneficial. But we will get back to that. I just wanted to come back. I think Nicole wanted to mention something regarding Patricia's situation or something, I remember.
If you go to posts on the there, and then categories, can you not delete it from there, or?
Yeah.
So I don't think you can delete the uncategorized folder. I think it's one of those folders that WordPress doesn't allow you to delete
it.
Right.
But you can rename it.
You can rename it, that is correct. Okay, so let's see. Now we have like a category. I think also something I wanted to mention is probably you want to, you know what, I think we'll go through this, but Patricia, I think also to make your blog look slightly cleaner is maybe to have excerpts show up as opposed to the full blog post, but we'll get into that.
Do that?
I'm going to show you.
Okay.
So let's see.
Yeah, that was another issue.
Let's create a new menu because it seems like there isn't one here. So we're going to create a new menu. So to do that, we went to Appearance and then Menus.
Okay.
And then we're going to call this Main Menu. And create it. And then we're going to attach it. So under Menu Settings over here, it gives you the display location. So it looks like for this particular theme, you have a primary menu, a footer menu, and then a menu specifically for social media links. So we're going to attach this to the primary setting. And then we're going to add home. We're going to add about. And then we're going to add the new category that we just created. So thoughts. And then we're going to save that. And then see how we did. So
You can even find a way to make it so that it's not coming soon either. I forget where the heck I put it like that.
yeah, we can try that as well. How do I? It says coming soon. Oh wait, hold on. Visit site. That makes more sense. Okay, so we have a cleaner menu. So we have the home page, which shows your blog posts, and then the 3 about, and then thoughts. So does that kind of help you, like with cleaning up your menu?
Yeah. And so like how the other one, the other heading that I had, like pictures for relaxation, is that like still there, or?
Yeah, so it's still a page there. So we can add that as well. So we just click on it.
Okay.
and then add to menu, and then save. And then when we go to the front end and refresh, that gets added there as well.
Okay. Beautiful.
I
So
have a
now,
question.
sure, go ahead.
I was going to say, from a website perspective, wouldn't the blog being on the menu be a good idea, because it is not there right now? The blog for
So
the blog pages.
what I would recommend is in this specific case, because it's a personal blog, I would recommend the actual individual categories to go into the menu. The reason I would recommend that is because, in my personal opinion, when people come on the website, they can see at a glance the type of topics are being spoken about on the blog. So I would say, because this very specific website is a personal blog, I would recommend that Patricia, with each topic or category that she's covering, each category should have the blog posts that relate to that category, and then she will add each of those categories to the main menu. For now, a professional website that may have multiple pages, such as maybe services, pricing, contact, etc., I would advise to have a menu item for blog, and then maybe a drop down which will have the individual categories of the blog as it relates to the business. That's what I'd recommend for a business website, and the distinction between the navigation system for a personal blog like Patricia's, and then for a professional blog where the blog it's there, but it's not like the forefront.
All right, thanks.
No worries. Okay, so the second thing I wanted to touch upon, Patricia, before we move on to the next person is, well, two things actually. Was I wanted to add, I actually wanted to see if we could show excerpts as opposed to the full blog post on your homepage to kind of make it a bit more compressed. So there's two, like every theme has different ways of doing this. So I'm going to first check the customizer to see if we can change. Oh, it's loading. If we can change this from here. So we're going to go to homepage settings.
Okay.
Just saying. Okay, latest post. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so would it be here? So the setting I'm looking for is not in the customizer for this particular theme. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next place to check, which would be under settings. Just scroll down. I think it's reading. Okay, so under settings and then reading. So you see here it says for each post in your feed include the full text. Right. So I'm going to change this to summary. But then there is a little bit of extra work you need to do. You would need to go back into potentially you'd have to go back into each post and add a little summary of the post. But what it does is the theme should automatically just pull, I think, the first couple of words of each post. But let's refresh to see if that took. Looks like
I would think that it should do a thing like that.
Interesting. Let's try one more time. Okay, so the second way that we can do that, or try to achieve that, is to go into each post and add a read more tag slot. I think it's a tag. I don't know if it's a tag or I don't remember the actual word for it. I'm gonna call it a tag or short code. But we're gonna go and edit the post. So 2 things to bear in mind. Number 1, you can add an excerpt in the post editor. Oh, I guess you're using Gutenberg, huh? Like the blocky editor?
What?
So on WordPress, there's 2 default editors. There's a classic editor, and then there's Gutenberg. But I'm assuming because you're using WordPress.com, you'll be using Gutenberg. So let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, cool. All right, so in the excerpt, traditionally, what would happen is if, for example, where is it? Okay, so let's say, for example, you wanted to say something. It's basically like an intro to the post. So there's 2 ways that the excerpt is created. It's either it copies a select amount of words from the beginning of the post, or you can add in like a customized excerpt here. So I would always advise that you utilize the excerpt. It's really beneficial. When you are doing your blogging. So I would definitely say put an excerpt that's customized towards your content. It's basically like 2 or 3 sentences that describe your blog post. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to like just, let's say, type into the text, and let's see if we can add a read more. Does anyone know how, is there like a read more block? Question for the floor. Is there a read more block for Gutenberg?
Yes, there is. If you pick a new block, it should be something like page break or something like that on the left.
Hey, Joanne, it's good to see you.
Hi. Thank you.
All right. Let's see, read more. Oh, they have a Calendly one as well. Interesting. Okay. So, okay, I'm gonna click browse all because search is clearly not working for me right now. Okay, perfect. So we are looking for the read more block. Let's see if we can find it. There we go. Wow, they just call it the more now. Okay. So we're gonna update that. And hopefully now that will shorten this page a little bit. So let's refresh. Woo, yay. So if you notice, we have like, yeah, the first part of the blog post, and then there's a continue reading button. And then when you click on that, it goes into the full blog post. So right away, that cleans up the homepage a great deal because we're taking out like lots of chunks of content and replacing it with like a continue reading button. So
now I don't know if I can. Yes, it was. Now I don't know if I can remember how to do that for the next time I write one.
So what we do is like we record all of these meetings. So you can totally I will upload it onto I will upload it onto YouTube. And when you do come back, you can always go back through the tutorial. So thank you for your patience.
Maybe just give me the YouTube link or whatever, because I didn't know you guys were on YouTube too. So
yes, I will do that. Let me put in the chat right now, just in case. And so it should be up by, I'm gonna say Friday, but if I'm not tired, I'll try and upload it tonight. Yeah, thank you for being a good sport, Patricia, and thank you everybody who contributed to the conversation. We appreciate you.
I learned lots already.
I'm glad to hear that. Okay, Favor, you're next. Do you have a website that you want us to look over? I think you mentioned your professional website. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna make you a presenter.
Great.
And then you can show us your work. Yeah. Yeah, I'm requesting to use the keyboard and mouse in case you need assistance.
Okay. So when I click share screen, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to, just because of my computer settings is different. But how about, let me see. Let me try one more time. Can you see my screen?
No.
Can you see my screen?
No.
Okay. That's funny.
Is your website live so that maybe I can share my screen from this side?
It is. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Plumbermarketingcrew.com. Yeah, it's a website. I just started creating it about a week ago, and is for a digital marketing agency that I recently just launched last month. And the issue that I have with it is actually sort of the although I'm
Sorry,
working
am I on the right website?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So I think it has to do with the menu. I'm still working on the text and on the stuff like that, but the menu, I don't know how to connect it together, if that makes sense. For example, I could click on about, and it just goes to it goes to about page, but I don't see the rest of the menu up there. But yeah, I was wondering if there's a way that I could connect the menu, if that makes sense. And lastly, just to create a like a header and a footer, so a page that for the bottom that I could put, for example, let's connect like social media stuff, or phone number, email. So I think is those two that I really want to get going.
Okay, so the menu situation is very similar to what we just did for Patricia. In fact, it's the exact same thing. So you'd have to most likely create and attach a menu to the theme. So what theme are you using now?
I think this might be Thrive theme. But so are you saying that for example, for About Us, I create a menu, for homepage I create a menu, and
no, you should it from what it looks like, it seems that the main menu hasn't been put to a certain position. So if you remember on Patricia's website, when we created the menu in the appearance section, there was 3 different places we could put a menu: in the footer, the social media links, and in the homepage. What it's looking like here is that you haven't assigned a menu globally.
Okay, you mean I haven't assigned like a widget for menu? Is that correct?
No, you haven't assigned a menu to the website. And it would be better if I could see the back end of your website. But let me see if I can give you an example using my very slow
primary menu. And
yes,
you do
exactly.
Let's see, it's settings, reading, and then you have your choice and you can make it a primary menu.
Yeah, so similar to what we did on Patricia's website, you need to go to Appearance and then Menus. And within whatever theme you have, you need to select a display location. So for the theme I'm using, which is a Divi theme, I have the primary menu, the secondary menu, and the footer menu. You need to do something similar for your theme because it's not showing up. So this is my primary menu, but if I change this, I'm putting the secondary menu as an example.
It'll be gone.
It will be gone from where it is currently. So if I refresh my page right now, it's not, it's up here. But notice like right away, even though I don't have a menu set, what's happening is WordPress by default has jam-packed every single page that I have on my WordPress website into the home page of the main menu. So if I were to go, let's say, to my link tree over here, that's a bad example because this doesn't have, let's say I was to go here, it still shows this menu which hasn't been determined yet. So you need to basically select the display location to be primary menu for your website so that on all the other pages, it will show that menu in each page. So that's what you need to do for that. And similarly, for the footer, that's definitely something that appears to be, you need to add some widgets in there. So is it Thrive like Thrive Themes? Like Thrive Architects? Is that the...
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I feel like they would have, they might have social media modules, but essentially similar, this is Divi right now, but there probably is a footer area and you probably need to simply just like move specific widgets from here into here. So as an example, I don't have a social media, let's say Instagram feed. Yeah, so let's just say that, for example. So if we now go to the front end, in the footer, all things being equal, of my website now, there is no Instagram feed. For example, let's give a better example. Let's say, in short, you would need to move over. You'd probably either two options. You'll probably need to use the default widgets that are maybe social media or contact or icons, etc., from Thrive in the widget section, or you could probably use the custom HTML module and add short codes into here to actually show something into the footer area.
Okay.
Was that helpful?
Yeah, for sure. It does. Yeah, and it makes so much sense. I'm wondering, does this event happen, let's say once a week, once a month? Because this is my first time being here.
So this happens once a month on the last Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then on the last Thursday of every month, that is the Divi specific meetup. So we do very specific help specifically and strictly to the WordPress theme Divi and its subsidiaries. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think that's it for me.
All right. Glad we could help. Next on the docket, Jacques, you're next up. I think we've covered a lot of what you discussed earlier, but if there's anything you'd like to bring to the floor is open.
Actually, the Smush and there's another one that was recommended called WP Cleanup, and I'm going to look between the two of them to see which does the job most effectively. What it needs to do is just isolate and remove the images on posts and pages that are not being used, or sorry, let me restate that. Find on among all the images in my media library, ones that are not used at all on any post or any page. And that's what WP Cleanup promises to do. And Smush seems to imply we'll do it too. So I got to go and spend a little extra time figuring that out. So I think I'm well handled now.
Glad to be of assistance. Awesome, 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 awesome. Boris, is there anything that you need assistance with today?
Sorry. Okay, no, not today. I'm just listening in and put in my 5 cents.
Awesome. We appreciate your
time. We can maybe have a short discussion on how to run a web development business, plus minus, pros, cons.
That sounds
that doesn't work.
Amazing for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we don't have that discussion later on today at the end of today's meeting, we will definitely cover that discussion at tomorrow's Divi meetup. So I will create an event tonight, and then I'll share the link. And then if you register, then tomorrow we can talk a bit more. I guess, yeah, we can talk a bit more about running a web design business for sure.
Did you get topics for next month? And I know you had an open thing a couple of weeks ago for topics for the future.
Yeah, so I'm still looking. No, so for Divi, I pretty much go with the flow. So we don't really have a topic for tomorrow, but now we do have a topic, which is basically running a web design business.
Divi, okay. I'm not a Divi guy, as you can tell.
We would still love to have you if you are available tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Is that in the same group?
It's a different group, but I will put the link here. Give me 1 second. It's the Divi, it's the Brampton Divi meetup. I run them both, but they're sponsored by 2 different companies. Let me see. But I'm going to put the link here, and I am going to very quickly create an event so that if you are interested in learning more about running a design business, we can talk about that tomorrow. Yeah. Kathy, you're next up on the docket. How can we help you today?
Well, I don't have anything really specific right now. Again, just seeing what everybody else is doing. Actually, I was going to offer some help to Patricia. I'm also working on a personal blog right now, and if you wanted to contact me, Patricia, I can maybe share some of the things that I've been finding out as I'm doing this this personal blog that might help you.
Yeah, sure.
That sounds fantastic.
How would we do that? Like,
you can email me at sturman@rogers.com.
Okay.
You can also send each other a personal chat. I feel you guys can personally message.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
So you guys can definitely connect over there. Well, thank you, Kathy, for providing your insights and offering your help and assistance. Greatly appreciated. Sandra
is available now with no limit, or no longer a 40-minute limit. So if you're both, obviously you're both here, you could use Zoom to connect between you. And it's simple to do.
Yeah, I have Zoom. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Look at that, making connections. We love to see it. Sandra, you are up next.
I think I'm the same as Bruno and Kathy. I'm just here to kind of learn. I don't have any specific questions.
All right, sounds good. We would love to have you at tomorrow's Divi meetup if you are available.
Hey, I'll try. I did message you, Christina, with the spreadsheet, all the Divi plugins that they provided at that Black Friday event. So
I just saw it when I opened Meetup. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I really
no problem.
That.
What time is the Divi meetup tomorrow?
It's going to be a short one, so it's going to be from 7:30 to 8:30, just an hour.
Okay, thanks.
No worries. Nicole, you're up.
I don't really have anything urgent. I'm sorry. But
No worries, no worries. I love how everyone's kind of contributing, and that's great because this meetup is like varying skill levels. There are people who are beginners, there are people who are experts, there are people who are like buying organic traffic, and there are people who are like trying to get their affiliate marketing set up. So there's skills and space for absolutely everyone. So thank you for being present and also adding your contributions. We do appreciate you.
I'd love to learn more about SEO, like how to apply that to your pages and your posts.
That's a great question.
Alt tags.
Floor is open. If anyone wants to talk and share their experience with SEO, the floor is open.
I used Greg's high performance SEO because it's very simple, and it then can be imported into, if you decide to use a high powered system like Yoast or is it all-in-one SEO or whatever. And the advantage is that Greg's gives you gets you used to on every page and every post putting in the appropriate metadata. And once you get used to that idea, then you can import it into Yoast. I'm not sure if you can import it into all-in-one SEO, but you got a good start and you got a good idea of what the SEO requirements are. Also, all-in-one in Yoast create your sitemap automatically for you, and those are very useful. And in fact, they're vital to getting good Google response. Not just Google, Bing, and all the other search engines. They sort of stick up their nose if you don't have a sitemap.
So you said it's Greg something?
Yeah, Greg's high performance SEO. SEO.
And it's a plugin?
It's a plugin.
Okay.
So I use Yoast. I think a lot of people probably do. I just think right from the beginning, you've got to think about SEO, even on the very first page that you create on anything. I've had some weird experiences where I took a lot of time writing a heading with an H1 and then replicating something similar in an H2 tag and then really carefully writing that first paragraph. And then my tags, I might have missed something. I didn't have a tag that had exactly the right keywords, and it didn't rank as well as something that did have the proper keywords. And I would change them and then the ranking would change of the post. So little weird things like that, they happen. And so Google's using AI now, right? So there are things that are being evaluated on your page that aren't even obvious sometimes. Like I'm surprised that changing a keyword tag would actually move something from the second page to the first page. And I've had that happen. It's really interesting.
For keyword tags, do you use something like SEO Rush? I heard about these, or SEM Rush things.
So SEMrush is a big company in the SEO space. There's a bunch of them, but I write everything myself. So if SEMrush is expensive. I don't know how much money you would want to spend, but it's not an inexpensive thing. If you're going to commit SEO, then you might want to buy it, but it's not cheap. And if I recall, SEMrush, you can't do anything for free. There's some SEO tools out there that you can start for free and then move to something paid. But doing everything right from the beginning, I think is just so important. And that includes tagging your images and everything.
How do you figure out the keywords, Sandra?
I figure out the keywords based on, so I teach software. So I figure out the keywords based on what I think the important concepts are in whatever article I'm writing. So the categories and the keywords are something I spend a lot of time on, and it takes a lot of time for me to write a blog post, sometimes a week. So it's not, you know, just my opinion about something. Like every step has to be right. And that takes time, and every picture has to have really good titles. And I can get something on the first page of Google within 3 weeks. So you learn a lot when you get into this world.
I heard that to apply the SEO, it can take 6 months to
it depends. So if your site has a reputable ranking with Google, you'll rank a lot faster when you write something. So if you've just started a website and it's the first 6 months, you might not rank for anything, right? Unless, that's why I was interested in what Bruno said about buying traffic, because the first 6 months, generally you won't rank, no matter how good that article is. At least that's been my experience.
Okay. Yeah, there's
Yeah, it's up
definitely.
and down. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I was just commenting, there's a lot to SEO, like there's so much. So.
Well, here's a weird example. A funeral home website. Somebody you know dies. He's already on first page the next day. How do you explain that? It's a bit strange. Sometimes I find if you have the Google Webmasters account, I don't know if they still have that valid, you can force or ask for a bot to visit much sooner, within a couple days. So I guess the funeral guys, I don't know what they do, but it's really strange on how fast somebody ranks on there, especially if, you know, for obituary listing.
I guess
Just
Google
a comment.
has its own way of, I guess Google has its own way of listing things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you put funeral home on within your tags or something like that, maybe it might be faster. I don't know.
Okay.
Nicole, if you're wanting to learn about SEO, I'd really recommend that HubSpot course. I thought it was great. But it's not specific to WordPress. So it's kind of a general, this is what we do, and that's how HubSpot became such a big website. Like they'll repost articles and change their keywords. You know, they'll do a lot of interesting things, but they have thousands and thousands of articles on their sites as well. So
yeah, it's just finding the time.
yeah, writing a blog post takes, if you're going to do a good job, it takes I think quite a lot of work. But it can really pay off, because you can bring someone to your site based on a really good blog post and then sell them something else, if that's what you're trying to do.
I had a blog post back in April that did really well. So I was like very impressed with myself, but it was during the start of the pandemic, and the topic was related to that and employment in the city of Toronto. So it actually brought a lot of traffic to my site. But I've done a bunch of other articles, but they haven't been nearly as good. So it's like, sometimes it's hit or miss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, my opinion.
Well, there's the Google Trends site, right? And I think it's called Ask the Audience. Something along that. I don't know if anybody else has used it, where it's all kinds of ideas about if you put in a keyword. I think it's called Ask the Audience.
Answer the public. It's called
Oh,
Answer
that's
the
it.
Public.
Sorry,
Yep.
Bruno. I don't use it, but I know that I knew the name of it. That's I tend to use the Google stuff. But yeah, what's trending right now obviously is COVID and jobs and people losing jobs and all that kind of stuff.
But I just feel like it's overkill now. Everything's COVID, COVID, COVID. Just want some other content, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Does anybody know
on WordPress, if I don't want to use the block editor, how do I get out of that?
You
Classic,
download the plugin Classic Editor.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems easy.
Like as soon as you go into plugins, it's like one of the first plugins there. You install that and Gutenberg goes away.
Okay. Because I'm having all kinds of trouble with the block editor. So, you know, I've been trying to get this website published probably since beginning of the year, and I still don't have it launched. So.
Yeah, I really don't. I really struggle with Gutenberg, and I disable it for all my clients as well because I feel like 90% of them don't like it either. They prefer to just use the classic editor and just, you know, write their blog posts.
Yeah.
And go their way. They don't want to have like page builder functionality when they're just trying to add a very simple blog post to their company website. Yeah.
Yeah, like it seems really complicated, and I'm just not that brilliant, you know?
There is one danger, and that is Automatic, who control WordPress, have said the final date for the classic editor is 2022. That's not far away.
So does that mean that
very
2022?
If, somebody will create a workaround to that, but that's a real problem.
Yeah, so then in 2022, I'd have to switch back to the block editor?
Or you, hopefully there would be a plugin that would replace the classic editor with, you know, a substitute.
Okay.
I think the reason Automatic decided to add the block editor as default on every installation now is because a lot of people that want to create more than just a blog use front-end editors like Divi or Visual Composer or Gutenberg. I was very adamant on trying Gutenberg until a couple months ago, and I just started seeing, you know, how far I could push it, and I'm quite honestly surprised. Like, it's quite useful if you know, you might have no need for it whatsoever, but if you are trying to add, you know, specific elements to your layout that cannot be achieved with just the classic editor, you can do them with Gutenberg, and it's actually pretty good. But I can understand the discontent of some people that just want to write, you know, just want to publish a post.
Yeah.
A simple post.
So Bruno, what theme do you use Gutenberg with?
I am building my company's new website entirely out of 2020 vanilla WordPress, just to see how far I can take it instead of, you know, purchasing or building another theme. I thought, okay, if I can just use enough CSS and callouts in my functions PHP to get the functionality that I need, could Gutenberg be used to, you know, add color splashes and images and maybe a little bit of motion here and there. So yeah, 2020. It's a great theme, actually. The more I use it, the more I'm in love with it, kind of. And it's free.
That is interesting. That's interesting. So my younger sister is applying for art school. So I think this is the first year ever that I'll be using or playing around with a default WordPress theme. So we're planning on using 2021 to build her portfolio, to showcase her art pieces for school. So it has like a super cool masonry, kind of like floating images, very Squarespace type of situation going on. So I want to play around with that to kind of showcase some of her work. So I would love to see kind of what the finished product of your website looks like, Bruno, for sure, especially if you're just going to be using like a crap ton of CSS and PHP and all that good stuff.
I actually haven't seen 2021, but I figured if this comes already built into WordPress, it probably means that they know what they're doing right. So let's give it a shot, So just trying to take it from there.
Fair point. Fair point. Fair point. Great discussions happening. I think the next person I'm going to go to is Joanne. Hi. How are you? How can we help you today?
Hi there. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So I have a website here, and we like to add jobs to it. Now, I think with any type of updating or some buttons went away that used to be there. I didn't do this website. We had a marketing company do it. They left, and so I'm trying to manage this, and it's been going fine for a couple of years. I've been adding jobs to it, deleting jobs, editing jobs. That's all I know. That's all I know. But if anything moves from it, I'm stuck. And that's where I am right now. So now we have just simple things like if I'm posting a job on the website, sometimes that needs to go on a little longer, or sometimes it's the same job for a different company, so we want to keep it up there anyways. So I want to change the posting date. Well, I can't do that anymore. Another example would be I used to be able to bold certain headings, and it seems so simple, I know, but the bold button is gone. So that's just the very start that I want to start with in trying to fix these issues.
Cool. So I'm going to make you a presenter, and then I'm going to request keyboard and mouse control, and you could share your screen with us. And if we could open the WordPress backend, that would be fantastic, and we can try and tackle this together.
Okay, so I just go with share, or
yeah.
Okay. It's grayed out. Oh, go to meeting. Yeah, okay. Choose what you'd like to share. Oh, I see that. Okay, I got it now. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. Oh, and everyone, I have put the link to tomorrow's meetup for discussions surrounding building, growing, having a WordPress/digital design firm into the chat. So please sign up, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay. All right, cool. This looks very cool.
So you can see, do you see my arrow?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone's seeing it? Okay. So if I were to click edit. So here, let's go with this one because you can see it's expired, but we want to keep it. So we're going to click edit, and it takes forever.
Looks like a pretty big site.
Okay, so I used to be able to, if I want to change the publishing date, I don't necessarily need to change this one. This one's quite new, but let's just keep it here. So I used to be able to press edit, and nothing happens.
Huh.
Yeah, so I used to be able to press that, and then I could change the date and then just publish. Or if I wanted to change anything else on here, which I do, so I can do that. I would just change the listing expiry date, but sometimes I want to change the publishing date as well, and I can't do that anymore. Another thing here, you can see under responsibilities, it's not bolded. Is there a reason why for that? Because the bolding button used to be right here and it's gone. Now it says add media. What is that?
So you just switch to visual here. So you see where it says text HTML? Click visual right next to it.
Okay. Oh, is that all it
And
was?
then
I don't want to touch anything, right? Because I'm scared to screw things up.
no, but click it.
Nothing's
It's
happening.
really not showing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, nothing's happening. But I do see the visual. Yeah.
Have there been any recent updates to the website?
Not that I'm aware of. I didn't do anything.
Are you the only person who logs into the website?
To change things, yes.
So no one else touches the website?
No. No one else touches it.
Interesting. Does anyone want to chime in as to what could potentially be happening here?
Can't
Could it
see it.
be an issue with the plugin? Maybe you could check with the plugins. Maybe it's not updated. It's
Yeah, we could be out of sync. Maybe one or two are updated. If you look there, there's quite a few that are not.
There's quite a few
caught up.
that are not updated.
Oh,
So that was my first worry.
Should I click that?
Yeah, let's click it and see what's not updated. But that was like red flag number one was when the default WordPress edit button wasn't working. But for that, I think I have a little workaround how you can change the publishing date. But like this is the default editor of WordPress, so maybe let's do the plugins first and see what we have going on. But there are a lot of plugins, number one, and number two, a lot of plugins that need to be updated. So
I'm clicking
I would.
It's
Oh,
it's
it's
low.
taking a while to load, so we'll wait it out with you.
Okay, there we go.
My heart hurts.
Wow.
That's a
Category.
lot.
What's the backup process on your website?
Great question.
Like, do you have regular, like, you don't want to update anything without having backups, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So you just want to know that you can restore if you have to.
I would not be able to do that. No.
So before I would touch anything, I would make sure that you get some type of backup in place.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
use Updraft or what's the other free all-in-one backup. They do a good job, and they're free.
Backup?
Yeah, I'll put some here in the chat. So all-in-one backup, Updraft. My personal favorite is Duplicator.
Yeah, that's it. Duplicator. All free.
Yeah.
Fast.
All of these are free. So what I'd recommend, to be honest, I don't feel comfortable touching your website.
Okay.
There's a lot going on here. So, but what I can do is I can definitely give you a list of steps that I would recommend taking over the course of the next couple of weeks, because what you're basically seeing is like the symptoms of a deeper problem with the website. So I would say the very first thing is we need to get a backup of the website. So I'll say, I'm going to write the steps in the chat just in case anybody else wants to do it. Take a backup of the website.
sure I can do it for you, Christina.
Sorry?
I can take the notes for you.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate it, Nicole. Yeah, so I would say first step, take a backup of the website using any of those three plugins that were listed. That would be step one. Step two would be to restore that in a separate location just to make sure that it's working. Step three would be to one by one update all the plugins on the sandbox what I like to call it, basically the backup version. So we're not touching this main version at all. So we're going to perform all the updates on the sandbox.
Okay.
Step 3 would be to check to see if that fixes the problem. It should, but sometimes it never does. Step 4, if all those updates go well, would be to restore that fresh backup over onto the website and move from there. But like Sandra mentioned, like Jacques mentioned, there's like how what everybody mentioned is definitely like the symptoms you're experiencing are the result of many plugins needing to be updated. So there are a lot of professionals here in the room, so feel free to reach out to anybody here who feels that this is something they can take on. I personally would be able to help you as well if it's something you'd like assistance with. But Sandra, I think, is there. I think Nicole is there. Jacques is there. Boris is there. Bruno is there. So if you want to reach out to anyone to kind of get assistance on this, I definitely feel this is something that is definitely higher level in terms of capabilities to do. So that would be my recommendation, really. But what you're experiencing are basically symptoms of a deeper problem, which is essentially the website needs to be updated seriously. And I think Jacques also had mentioned that PHP 8 is coming out. So you definitely want to make sure that you are kind of good to go before that happens, because I know that will probably sink a lot of websites. It's coming out tomorrow, but is it being I don't think that hosts are implementing it tomorrow though. I would say that everybody's going to jump from 7.3 to 8.
It's showing up in 5.7, which is 5.6, which is coming out December 8th, the WordPress core. But my guess is you can use things less than PHP 8, but I haven't read I've just discovered at WP Tavern the story on how does it affect you, and I haven't been able to read all the details. I posted it in case people are interested on the chat screen.
Cool. Yeah, so Joanna, I do apologize that we weren't able to directly solve your issue, but I think I would highly recommend that you take a look at those 5 steps. I would highly recommend procuring a professional to assist you with that. And those 5 steps would be what I would consider the proper format as to how to update the website. And I think someone also mentioned that you need to also update the theme. I see you're using Divi, which is great. I love Divi. And update WordPress. But you definitely want to get a backup as soon as possible. Restore that backup, do all the changes, edits, updates onto the backup before even coming back and updating anything over here.
Okay. No, that was a great help. That's a great start.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. You are so welcome. I think the last person was Nicole. Thank you so much for taking those notes down. Really appreciate it. But yeah, how can we help you today, Nicole?
I just already went. It was about the SEO part.
Oh, shoot. Yes. Sorry.
Christina,
I didn't see your I remember. I didn't see your camera, so I thought you were someone else. All right, cool. Yes, Sandra also mentioned getting the classic editor. I would highly recommend that as well. Downloading the classic editor plugin. Yeah, Favor, go ahead. And I think after Favor, I think we've answered everyone's questions. So then we'll definitely open the floor up to start a bit of a discussion on building, growing a digital marketing agency, firm, boutique, collective, etc., etc. Okay, Favor, what's up? Oh yeah, sure, go ahead.
How do you disable the Gutenberg? I've never seen that before.
Okay, so what you'd have to do is you'd have to install the Classic Editor plugin.
And Classic Editor also disables Gutenberg.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not automatically a plugin with WordPress. You have to download it.
Yeah, you have to download it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Favor, you're up.
Yeah, I think I understand the from what you walked me through the menu a lot more. I was wondering if I could add a phone number to the menu side that someone could click on and call. Do I need, let's say, advanced coding for that? Can I add a button or something like that to add a phone number?
So I would say I feel like Thrive would probably give you some advanced CSS that you could apply to do that. What you would search for is a tutorial for Thrive Architect on how to convert a menu item into a CTA or a call to action. So that's what you would search on Google. I'm fairly certain if you're using Thrive Architect that they'll definitely have some form of tutorial on how to do that. But yes, you can do that. And I would say if you do know a bit of CSS, you could probably hack it up yourself. Just enable CSS classes in the menu, add a little bit of CSS, and then apply the class to that menu item to be able to have like a call, colon, blah, blah, blah. And then obviously you'd use like tell, colon in your phone number to actually have it be click to call. So yes, I would say yes and no. So I would research creating a menu call to action on Google for your theme. And yes, if you use a bit of CSS, you can definitely do that without having to, it takes a bit of coding, but not too much.
All right, sounds good. And I think this will be my last one, but the meeting happening tomorrow, you mentioned that is talking about I think Divi, a platform, but also talking about how to start a website business, right? Because currently what I have is a digital marketing agency, so but for a specific niche, and most of, let's say, right now some of the work are being outsourced just because of the amount that I charge my clients. I have one right now. So I was wondering, would that be specific on learning how to build websites or using, let's say, processes and systems to let's say run an agency? And I think that's the question. What do you think about that?
I think we'll cover all of that. I think it wouldn't be specifically to web design, but I feel like most of the people here are web designers. So it would sway, I would say, that way, but definitely we would talk about processes and systems as well, because when it comes to building and scaling a firm or an agency, that is really what helps you be able to do that. So to answer your question, we can talk about that for sure tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, floor is open. Does anybody want to share their favorite CRM that they use for their business?
Well, I started to use Go High Level. It's CRM. I think it was made for agencies. Something that I like about it is that it has inbuilt calendar. It has an email marketing system. It also has text message marketing. So, for example, I have a strategy session on Saturday at 9 o'clock a.m. So what I did was, I give an example. I put the prospect into the CRM, and because I already have campaigns, an email went out, a text message went out, and let's say 5 minutes before I get on the Zoom call with the person, and a text message actually goes in and says, hey, hop on, it's 5 minutes to go to the meeting. So it has those kind of things that makes automation really easy for me. I'm still learning how to use it, but it's really cool.
Interesting. Wow, that was really cool. I haven't heard of it before, but it seemed like I took a look at their homepage. It looks super dope. For me, I use Dubsado in conjunction with ClickUp. So I'll put that there. And I love ClickUp for project management. So when you're going deeper into like working with clients and also internally as well, because I do have a team. So we each have our own like access, our own, I wouldn't say calendars. What are we using? Tables, etc. Yes, Dubsado for the win. Yeah, so those are the two systems that I use. What I really love about Dubsado is the proposal to payment process. It's not perfect, I will definitely say that, but I love how I can send a proposal to a client and they get a proposal, they complete the proposal, they get a contract, they complete the contract, they get an invoice, they complete the invoice, they get their, they complete the contract, they get their invoice, they pay their invoice, and we start working. So I love that process. I also love how the scheduler is integrated. So I have the scheduler on my website, and that integrates into the CRM. So it creates them as a brand new lead, a brand new project. And we're able to kind of add different things to their profile within Dubsado. So that's what I'm using. What's everyone else using? Boris, what are you using as your CRM for your business?
Pen and notepad.
Are you serious? That is so.
Seriously,
Why?
getting somebody organized with it, right? And right now it's cost. I was going to build it myself with in WordPress because he's got a site on there, so everything, all his files will be on one location. I'm looking at what is it, MailPoet to be to handle emailing, and I think MailPoet gives out text now. That's about it.
Okay.
Keep it very simple.
That is really simple. But how do you find that is when it comes to like scaling and stuff?
To be honest, one at a time. Like for my own marketing, right? I do a lot of cold calling when I have time. And usually,
I really hope you're going to be at tomorrow's meetup, because I would love to learn more about cold calling and cold emailing.
Yes, yeah. 7:30, right?
Yes, 7:30 tomorrow. I would really
I'll tell you
my
trials and tribulations for the last 20 years.
For sure, because I feel like us new generation of entrepreneurs, we never grew that muscle, that sales muscle. You know, we're always depending on Facebook ads. But we don't know how to pick up a phone and have a conversation like some of you OGs have under your belt. So I would really, formal invitation, please come and teach us how to do that stuff properly tomorrow, because I heard a story of a mutual she had she was interviewed for a newspaper, and she spoke about how she raised the down payment for her home from strictly cold calling during a pandemic. And I was just like, what? Just that? And I've been looking at cold calling and cold emailing for a while, but like I said, new generation entrepreneur would rather do a Facebook ad than pick up the phone and pound the pavement. So I want to learn how to do that properly. So we would love for you to spill some juice on this for us, for sure.
Okay.
Awesome. So does anybody else want to add to the conversation? Bruno, I see you've unmuted yourself.
Yeah, I'm fairly new, to be honest, to CRMs, basically because I've never been in a position that I need to use them myself, but rather depend on a team that takes care of that. So I'm fairly new to them, and I used HubSpot for a little bit. I found it a little too intrusive. I figure that I'm very adamant at adopting yet another $11 a month bill.
Yeah.
So I'm still looking into options and what to adopt long term. But I have heard that WordPress, Automatic has Jetpack CRM. I'm wondering if any of you guys have used it or seen it or know about it.
I have never heard about that, but you lost me when you said Jetpack.
Right. So I think Jetpack is a plugin that Automatic develops, so you can install it in your WordPress website. But I think just a couple of years ago, they came out with a CRM portion of it.
Not goggles, just lenses.
But I've never used it, so I was just wondering if you guys were familiar with it.
That's a good question. Has anybody heard of Jetpack CRM?
Heard of Jetpack.
Did you say Hotspot CRM or Hotspot Jetpack? Because I heard of the Hotspot CRM, but Jetpack, it's my first time hearing about that.
Yeah, they're two separate things. Yeah, HubSpot, I think they're entirely like a whole other entity, but Jetpack is developed by Automatic. And so it's completely free. You can install it into your WordPress, and it gives you basically, it measures visitors, and I think it advises on SEO best practices, and it's got other features. But just now I heard that it came out with a CRM extension. So just thinking, how would you run a CRM within WordPress? Like, I don't know, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I mean, I haven't tried it, so maybe I'll take it for a test drive at some point.
I remember at one point in time, it was like a very, 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 very long time ago. I did try to install a CRM onto WordPress. I forget what it's called. I think at the time it was like an invoicing solution CRM. It wasn't Jetpack CRM because this was like in, I want to say 2015. So it was a very, very long time ago. But I personally don't think I would trust it, just because I feel, for me personally, I feel that WordPress is for WordPress, and I feel like you should let things do what they're supposed to do. I think WordPress is an amazing, rocking CRM. Sorry, CMS. And so I would like to leave it as that, but yeah, I don't know. Again, Bruno, I guess we're giving you some homework again today. If you could like install it and check it out, that would be fantastic. And we'll follow up with you next month. But yeah, I feel that you should use things for what their main use is. So for example, I know this is a WordPress meetup, but I actually don't use WooCommerce for e-commerce, either for myself or for my clients. I use Shopify. The reason for that is because most of my clients, they sell physical products. And in my professional opinion, I believe that Shopify is the greater e-commerce platform when it comes to physical products. For digital products, I will always and forever advise WooCommerce. But for physical, I always tell all my clients to use Shopify. But also this year, I completely stopped building Shopify. So I personally do not think I would use Jetpack CRM, but again, I would love to follow up with you next month, Bruno, to see if you have installed it and actually utilized it with whatever use cases you have, to kind of see what that looks like, because it could be something that maybe for a smaller firm or a freelancer, it could be very beneficial. I think their pricing seems decent, and they do have a few integrations with some of the bigger guys. Like I saw something with Aweber, and I saw like ConvertKit, etc. So it could be promising on a very lean/light manner for sure.
I'm also like, I agree with you that, keep things for what they're for, and try not to put all your eggs in one basket, because if one thing goes down, then everything does. But yeah, definitely, I'm gonna take it for a test drive, and I'll report back next time.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So does anybody else have any questions, anything they'd like to share, discuss? I'm putting the link in the chat again for tomorrow's Divi meetup / web design meetup. So if anyone's interested, please roll on through. I know I've seen a couple of you register already. Thank you. I'm excited for us to get down. But we have 10 minutes together. So anybody want to share any closing thoughts, closing statements? Would you guys be interested in the site clinic again next month, or do you want us to have like a specific topic?
I'd like the same thing again. I think, to be honest with you, I have never, ever yet done anything like this. And this was like really cool, very helpful, very interesting, and I definitely got my brain full, that's for sure.
Awesome.
And
Okay, cool.
I really enjoyed it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Thank
I
you.
find the site clinics very helpful.
Yeah,
So
So we have 2 people thus far for site clinic. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
2
we
people for site
can do
clinic.
it again.
Anybody else? Sorry?
Yeah, we can do it again.
All right, site clinic, 3 people for site clinic. All right, cool. Let me see what date that would be, because I don't want it to be like on a holiday or something when everyone's like chilling in Boca.
It'll just be before Christmas, because don't forget, 4 weeks today, people. Or is it 5 weeks?
Yeah, is
Next
everybody okay? Okay, so let's say, could we do December 23rd? So it wouldn't be Wednesday, but because we're sponsored by the city, we won't be able to do the 30th, which is the official last Wednesday of the month. Let me see, hold on. Maybe we could do this, well, hold on, that's November. Oh, December 23rd. Yeah, so can we do December 23rd? Which is the second last Wednesday of the month? Sorry, yeah, second last Wednesday of the month of December. Is that
Sure.
okay with everyone?
Sure.
Okay. December.
Sure.
at 7?
Yep. No, it will be at 6. So we do from 6 till 8.
Okay.
Still open for new topics or comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have 8 minutes. So just to confirm, tomorrow's meetup is for agency owners. We're just going to put agency owners to kind of learn about processes, systems with a slant towards web design. That is happening tomorrow at 7:30. And then the next meetup, which will be also a site clinic, is happening on December 23rd from 6 till 8 p.m. And I will send a message to everyone through Meetup so that everyone has those 2 dates and links. But yeah, Boris, bring out a new topic.
Okay, I wonder if there's any GT metrics people out there. This is the site that you can look at how your site is built, how fast, and how is it compared to others. It's gtmetrics.com. Take a look. They just changed their interface.
I don't like it. I don't understand it.
The new one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It took me a while to get around. They claim they're using a lot of Google algorithms or programs like Lightfoot or whatever they keep mentioning.
Lightspeed.
Lightspeed, sorry. Or something like that. So, but anyways, I took a look around, a bit closer look. Yeah, I found out what I'm looking for. I usually look at site size, like the page, and also how many requests. I did find that down a bit further. It's really hidden.
Here.
So if you look at a regular size, but all those numbers looks pretty cute. Like they'll give you a big rating. So if you got an F, that means you got to run back to the teacher, just like at school. And then all the percentages is nice color coded. So if you're green, you're good. If you're down red, whatever, you can make the changes to it. Making the changes, that's going to be the fun part. I haven't seen or gone into deep detail on what do I have to do to improve it. But I think it's still the same as the original. Reduce your site size and try to limit the requests.
But what you can do is click on any one of the, in the pull down, they have, and click on it, and it will then suggest a whole series of potential improvements in your performance.
No, I know that, Jacques. It's just that currently, I mean, so the old system, you did that too. Then what you do is you Google that situation, and then usually there'll be a nice plugin or a plugin and what settings you need. It was quick to do. Now, I guess you got to start all over now.
Oh, okay.
Especially the plugin makers.
By the way, I'm trying to copy the chat notes, and it won't copy. Does anybody know how to do that?
Oh,
Yeah, it's a bit tricky, I will say, but I have been able to grab them and I'll upload them to the site by Friday.
Okay. It is tricky.
Yeah, very, very tricky.
I just got everything qualified. Let's see if I'll try it again. Nope. Won't. Control C does not work if you highlight all the notes.
yeah.
No, it does work. I just copied everything. But yeah, Jacques, what I can do is I can send you the notes via email really quickly. They won't be pretty, but I can send them over to you if you'd like.
Yeah, if you don't mind, because
Sure.
this was a very useful session. Lots of good ideas.
I'm very grateful. I'm really glad to hear that. Really glad to hear that. Okay, so it looks like we've come to the conclusion of today's meetup. I'm really happy to have seen so many new faces, gotten a lot of great feedback, learned a lot, was able to share a lot. So thank you so much for making the time out on a frosty Wednesday to be here. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your faces tomorrow at the agency / Divi / web designer meetup tomorrow. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to email me at christina@noidesigns.com. Please make sure if you do email me, you put Brampton WordPress Meetup in the subject line, or else I will bill you. So yeah, have a great evening, and I will see you guys when I see you. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Hey, Jen, are you there? Oh, wait, no, probably not. Okay. So let me lock the meeting so no one else can come back in. How do I download the chat?
This conference will now be recorded.